Hi everybody. I just want to go over the maths that I sent out last week. The last two pages were on decimals, and I know I asked you last week to give them a try if you were comfortable with it. And if you were, that's great. But if not, I'm going to go through these two worksheets today to give you a hand. Okay. So the first one here, like we mentioned last week, what it's asking you to do is to tell them the value of the digit in red in this first question here. Okay, so if you don't understand that, that's fine. Let's go up here for a moment, and we spoke about this last week. So this number here is 17.835. Okay, now this number has 3 decimal places. Every number after the decimal point is a decimal place, okay? So if there's just one number, if it was just 17.8, that would be 1 decimal place. If it's 2 numbers, if it was 17.83, that would be 2 decimal places. And if it's 3 numbers like this one, 17.835, then it's 3 decimal places, okay? We don't consider the numbers to the left of the decimal point decimal places. It's only the numbers on the right. Okay, so the 8, the 3, and the 5 here. Okay, now we have lots of examples in our daily lives of decimal points. Let me show you. Just give me a moment and I'll open up some of these pictures. The one we're most familiar with, guys, would be prices. Okay, so here's a second-hand book that I bought recently, and you can see it costs €2. Okay, now this number 2.00, we always have 2 decimal places here and here with money, okay? So even though we could have just written €2 as in, bear with me, something like this, we could have just written, my writing will not be very good on paint, but bear with me. Okay, there's your euro sign, and there's your 2. We could have just written 2, okay? But usually, because the price can always have euros and cent in it as well, we always give the 2 decimal places there to let us write the cents if we need to. Okay, and you can see when this book was new, it cost £6.99 or 6.99. Sorry, £6.99 pence, or £6.99 is the way we would say it. And in Canadian dollars, it would have cost $14.99. Okay, so there's our 2 decimal places in each of those prices. And we have them here as well, even though we just have zeros in them. Okay, there's no cent added there. It's the same as just €2. So there's prices. We see those all the time. We also see it on food labels. Okay, so this is, I think this is chocolates from Christmas actually. And you can see here, you've got a load of numbers here, okay, with grams, the G beside them, okay? And they all have 1 decimal place. Can you see that? 39.1, 24.5, 52.9, 2.4, 5.4, 0.2, and so on. So where you have numbers like these ones and these ones, where there's just 1 number after the decimal point, they have 1 decimal place, okay? And then you'll also see ones like this one here. This is a yogurt carton. And you can see here we have 6.7, that's 1 decimal place, just 1 number after the decimal point. And the same with 4.6, 1 decimal place. 14 grams, no decimal places there. But look at the salt, 0.13. This has 2 decimal places, okay? So there's an example of where you'll see a number with 2 decimal places, besides money, okay, in everyday life. Now, going back to our worksheet, here we are. We have numbers here with 1, 2 decimal places here, and all of the rest of them actually have 3 decimal places. Can you see that? Now, what this is a very kind of simplified version of what you've seen before, what I call our place value chart. Okay, you'll recognize this. Let me close that down. Okay, there you go. So here's where we put our 1s, here's where we put our 10s, and here's where our decimal point will go. And any numbers in the place right beside the decimal point on the right hand side of it are tenths, or 1/10, or if we're talking money, 10 cents. Okay, Numbers that are in the second place are hundreds, 1 over 100 or 1 cent. And numbers in the third one are thousands. We don't have these in money because we only go as far as 1 cent. We don't go any smaller. But we do go smaller in measurements and lots of different things. So that's where we'd use the thousands, and it goes on and they get smaller by 10 times every time. Okay, so don't be afraid to use this place value chart, and don't be afraid to just draw it out on your copy. Okay, and write in the numbers, write in the titles. Okay, tens, units, ones, put in your decimal place, put in your tenths, your hundredths, your thousandths, and then write the numbers underneath. Okay, use your decimal point as your guide to where to put the numbers. So I'll give you an example. Let's take this one up here, 17.835. Okay, let's write this in. 17, that's a 1, 10 and 7 ones. There's 17. Okay, here's our point. So we know the 8 comes after that, and then the 3, and then the 5. Okay, so there you go. There's your number in your place value chart. And we are asked in this one, in 17.835, the value of digit 3 is what? Well, it tells us it's 3 hundredths or 3 over 100. But we can read that off. Look, we've written it in. Okay, we're just using our decimal point as our guide. We can tell that's 3 hundredths. So it's 3 of these guys. Okay, so 3 1 over 100 is 3 over 100. Okay. And you can do the same with all of these. So let's take the second one here, 87.384. So let's write that in. So go down too far. What was it? 87.384. 87.384. There it is. Okay, again, we used our decimal point as a guide. And notice when I'm saying the numbers, I'm saying 87 here, 0.384. For the numbers after the decimal point, just list them. Don't say 384, because that number is not 384. 384 will be over here with the 3 under the hundreds, the 8 under the tens, and the 4 under the ones. This is 0.384, just a list, okay? And we are asked, okay, the 3 is the one they're looking for. So this one is going to be 3 tenths, or 3 over 10. Okay, 100 and, sorry, we'll go in order. 4.006. Let's write that one in. 4.0. Oh, sorry. 006. There we go, 4.006. Okay, so what do they want on this one? This time they want the 6. So where's the 6? It's in the thousands. So it's 6 over 1,000. Okay. And the next one, 13.45. Let's go down. 13.45. And this time they want the 5. Again, we can read that off. 5 hundredths, 5 over 100. Okay. The next one is a 117.805. 117.805. And it was the 8 they wanted. So the 8 comes under the tenths column, 8 over 10. Okay. And the next one, 3.068. 3.068. Now, do not leave out that 0. That 0 is very important, because if you leave that out, then your 6 is likely to move here, and your 8 will move here. That's a completely different number. Okay, so in this case, they're looking for the 6. This 6 is 6 hundredths, 6 over 100. Okay, if you left your 0 out, your 6 will come over here and it would become 6 tenths, and that's not the same thing. Okay, so be careful of that. And then the last one, again, we have a 0 in here. They're called placeholders, just like they are over here in the 20. So 20.309. Let's write that in. 20.309. Okay, there's our number. And And remember, don't leave your zeros out. If we left our 0 out here, we'd have probably a 2 over here, which is not the same as 20, okay? And they're looking for 9, I think, on this one, isn't it? Yeah, 9 thousandths, okay? So that's the first one done, okay? I'm going to stop recording for a moment and we'll go to the second one. Okay, now the second part here is asking you to continue these patterns for 2 more numbers. Okay, so you have 1.96, then 1.97, 1.98. So you can see we're going up in hundredths. So the second number after the decimal point is increasing by 1 every time. So this is going to be 1.99. And then we can't have numbers higher than 9 in any of our decimal places. So the next one becomes 2.00. Okay, because once we get to 9 in the hundredths place, we have to move into the tenths place. You've already got a 9 there. So that's going to be 0 and your 1 will increase by 1 and it will become 2. Okay. Here on the next one we have 3.018, then 3.019, and then 3.02. So what's going on there? Okay, so you start off with 3 decimal places, don't you? 0, 1, 2. Okay. Sorry, 1, 2, 3. The 0 is in the first decimal place, the 1 is in the second decimal place, and the 8 is in the third decimal place. Okay, and you can increase the thousandths there. This is the thousandth place where the 8 is. You can increase that by 1, you get to 3.019. But if you try to increase that 9, you can't. Okay, that becomes 0. And you make the hundredths 1 bigger, isn't that right? Because 19 turns into 20. There's 3.02. Now you're still only increasing in thousands. So when you get to 3.02, if you add another thousandth on, it's 3.021 and then 3.022. Okay, let me know if you understand that. If you don't understand that, send me an email and I'll remember to explain it to you. This one here again deals in thousands. Look, 4.947, 3 decimal places, so we're talking about thousands. And the last one is going up 1 each time. Do you see that? 7 goes to 8, 8 goes to 9. And of course, what happens when we increase 9? We have to go to a 0, which we don't have to write, but this number beside it in the hundreds goes up. So this is going to be 4.95, and then the next one is going to be 4.951. Okay, and likewise, again, we have 3 decimal places, we're going up in thousandths. Okay, so we go from 0.998 to 0.999. When we increase that, all of these click over into a 1. But now we have to add a thousandth on here. So we're going to have 1.001 and then you're going to have 1.002. Okay. Just going to pause again and we'll do the. Okay guys, the last part of this page, it asks you to rearrange each set of numbers here to make a decimal number as near as possible to 1. There must be one number in front of the decimal point, e.g. 6.401 there, okay? So what it's saying there is you can't put 0.0641 there, okay? You have to have a number before the decimal point. Now, these need to be as close to 1 as possible, okay? So if you have a 1 in the number here, then you can probably put that to the left of the decimal point and you'd have 1 point something. And you've got the option of 0, 6 and 4 left, okay? So to get it as close to 1 as possible, remember you've already got 1 here, so you'd have 1.0 would be in the tenths place, and then 4 and 6. So 1.046 would be the answer there, okay? This one is very similar. Again, you've got a 1, so let's go 1 point something. Okay, so what's the smallest number we can make after the decimal point? Got 1.247. Okay, 1.247 would be the smallest number. So that's going to keep it as close to 1 as you can. The next one here, again, we've got a 1 and a decimal point. So let's make 1 point something. And what's the smallest number we can make then? 004. 1.004 is the answer to that one. And lastly, we've got this one, 1 point again, and we put in 058 after the decimal point. If you understand those, great. If you don't, please just email me and say, I don't get that last part, or I don't get whichever part of the question, and I will go over it again with you. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.